And at the same time, charities are already operating under significant financial strain. So for charities, we talk at NCVO about the triple threat. So, as public sector services withdraw from providing that non-statutory service, the demand for charity support grows. So that's number one, demand is up. At the same time, there's less funding. So that's number two, less funding around. And compounding this is the rising in costs. So that's the third issue. Charities don't get as many subsidies as a lot of the public assume. They must run like businesses do. So for many years, we've known that charities have been subsidising public service contracts using unrestricted funds to cover that shortfall between contract value and the real cost of delivery. So it's almost, I describe it as like a double tax on the public. So, I'm a taxpayer, I pay my tax, and that goes towards the delivery of public services. At the same time, I may donate to a charity. That charity has to use the fundraise money to cover gaps in the cost of delivering public sector contracts. So our members have told us they are delivering contracts for the same price that was commissioned a decade ago, with no contract uplifts in line with inflation. There's some recent research which I really recommend looking at from Durham University. It's called Third Sector Trends, and that report highlighted a growing reluctance among charities to participate in public service delivery because of these pressures. It's really too financially risky. There's also a long-standing issue with short-term contracting and constant retendering. So three-year contracts, sometimes even shorter. It just makes it really difficult for organisations to invest in improving services, to developing their staff teams or innovating for better outcomes. Many of our members are waiting right until the final hour, or even worse, weeks after a contract is technically ended, to find out if it will be recommissioned. And if it's not, they have to then make an emergency decision, whether that's redundancy, whether it's completely closing a service. And in some instances, it might actually be the final nail in the coffin for an organisation, and they need to close completely. And what does that mean? When those charities withdraw from delivering public services, communities really lose a lifeline. They lose valuable expertise and the support they really need and trust. Charities delivering underfunded frontline services such as employability programs or women's refuges are sometimes asked to demonstrate what additional social value they will bring to a contract. And this is a real bugbear for me. They can feel, it just feels really disconnected from reality because the work itself is the social value, and the indicators used in frameworks don't always capture the kinds of impact charities bring. So building trust in communities, mobilizing volunteers, co-producing services with local people, and reinvesting surpluses back into that additional support. So if social value is going to work for communities, it needs to really recognise the distinctive strengths of the VCSE sector. Now, aware that all sounded like a lot of doom and gloom and a bit moany, but the good news is that we do have some good examples of approaches that work better. So one is the Plymouth Alliance. So rather than commissioning a series of siloed services, the local authority commissioned an adaptive system. So they brought together an alliance of small charities and awarded them a 10-year contract. The budget was devolved to the alliance itself, and the local authority became a partner within the alliance rather than simply a funder. And this approach allowed organisations to design services flexibly around people's needs, learn from experience and adapt it over time. It's an example of what is sometimes described as human learning systems, where services are designed to respond to complexity rather than impose rigid structures.